How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be continuing my Sharks of Summer series. Sharks of Summer is a series I do around here where once a week, at least once during the summer, I take a look at a shark movie, and this one is one that had a very striking cover, and I really did want to get to it this year. This is, of course, Sky Sharks from 2020. This is directed by Marc Fehse and stars Thomas Morris, Eva Habermann, Barbara Nedeljakova, and we also get a special cameo appearance from Tony Todd. That's always cool. He's just in the movie maybe a couple of minutes, but he's one of those actors with a good, strong screen presence that, even though it's a cameo, always cool to see him. Anyway, this movie, I think it probably has a bit of a cult following. A lot of shark movies are kind of factory films, and there's a whole bunch of them with not much effort behind them, but this one was a movie you could tell was definitely made with a bit of passion. There's a whole bunch of creative concepts and big clunky machinery and gross zombies and creative kills. There's a lot going on with this movie, a lot of big over-the-top extreme moments, and I can definitely appreciate the effort that goes behind it. There's several scenes that are synced up to rock music that feel like a music video, and there's several just cool images that if you paused could look like just some sweet artwork. However, though, this is a movie that I wanted to like more than I did, and I just feel that it doesn't take that leap, you know? Like, there's cool artwork and cool music videos, but it doesn't quite make the leap into being a good movie. You know, there's so many ideas, and it splats them at the screen so super fast, and I kind of wish we took a second to, like, look at one of them, because there's so many things that just go way too quickly, and then the movie has this weird tendency to focus on things that don't matter, you know, throwing in a fake commercial or some characters and giving them too much screen time even though they're just gonna die in a second. And the movie really has a character problem. Your two leads are these sisters, and their father is a rich tech billionaire, and there's some ideas you could have explored with them, but overall, I really don't feel like I know the main characters, like, hardly at all, and their percentage of screen time is shockingly low. The movie jumps all over the place and focuses on weird things and doesn't really give anything a breath, and that includes getting to know the main characters. This is an extreme movie. Another extreme shark movie I could think of would be Sharknado 3, but with that one, we were clearly grounded with our main character, Finn, who we knew and cared about, and he took us through the plot. Here, it's cool stuff, but it just turns into a jumbled mess. Again, though, I appreciate the effort and passion behind it, and a lot of the ideas are really cool. It's just a bit of focus and a better narrative track would have really helped this out. Still, I'll remember it a lot more than those factory films, and it's leaps and bounds above that, but this is one of those movies that definitely made me feel old with all the bright, flashing images, but whatever. In order to analyze this further, let's talk a bit about the plot. I'm not going to do any major spoilers, but I do want to take a moment to analyze some of the plot in order to talk about this movie's pros and cons, but I'll be avoiding too much of the end. Anyway, we open up with an opening prologue sequence, which is not it doesn't work. So here's what happens. We get a wacky plane full of characters, and we get to meet a couple caricature characters, you know. There's a father and son, and the son's gonna see stuff out the window the father doesn't believe. And of course, he's got a toy shark. There's a priest who used to be a gang member but turned his life around. He could be an interesting character. And then there's like annoying drunk guy on the plane, which we spend way too much time with. But all these characters they set up, it doesn't matter because they're quickly eaten by sharks. The sharks fly in with zombies on their back and they look like they're from Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind or something. And they tear the plane apart and we do get some awesome kills. But I saw this and I'm like, what is this movie, like 6 minutes long or something? Did I buy a short? But no, we're gonna jump to an entirely different cast of characters. And the thing is, I've heard of having a faux lead before, you know, where you're following someone around who you think is the lead and then they die, surprise, surprise, and it's about all the other characters. But I've never seen an entire faux cast. And like, if we were just gonna kill these people off, why did we need to spend so much time getting to know each and every one of them? I feel like we gotta know, like, say, the priest in this plane better than we get to do the sisters later on in the movie. It's just so weird, and it's such a waste of time getting to know all these characters that you're just gonna kill off in a second. And secondly, in the age of streaming when you can just turn the movies off, this was also a bad move because instantly I started the movie up and I thought it was going to be one of those micro-budget films and the whole movie was going to take place on this airplane. And I thought this was a case of title bait and switch. But no, once the sharks show up, it changes, but it really does, at first glance, appear like it's going to be a lazy micro-budget film, and it's not. So this prologue sequence really needed to be trimmed down. Whatever. Anyway, after that, we find out why zombies riding on sharks through the sky killed an airplane. And as always with B movies, it's that darn global warming. You see, in World War II, there was a ship that got frozen in the ice, and inside that ship was a secret Nazi experiment where they made zombies and flying sharks. And this tech billionaire sends one of his daughters to investigate. She goes in trying to save a scientist who doesn't make it. And like the pacing in the edit, it's so weird where it's like these zombies are just going up to people and making them explode like balloons. And she's like, I have a chance to save this girl. And she's just taking her time, and I'm like, get in there because she's gonna die. And she does, but she makes it a surprising amount of time. But still, it's like the audience has no hope that she's gonna save this woman. But anyway, during the fight, a female zombie will stab the daughter with a serum, and that's going to work to try to slowly turn her. I mean, if we're familiar with zombie lore, she could have just got bitten, but no, the serum, it ties it into the main plot. But the thing is, so she escapes, and we as an audience know that that's clearly a Chekhov's gun, but it's so weird, because, like, this could have been the whole movie. A body horror transformation movie, sister versus sister, one a zombie, one not. But to be honest, it gets forgotten about for a large chunk of the movie, and it could have been the driving motivation. It only comes up in a few scenes, and at a certain point you wonder, do any of the characters even know that this happened? And comically underutilized. But anyway, we get their father, who has been alive for a long, long time, and it turns out he knows something about the zombies. I mean, we see him injecting his neck with the blue stuff to keep himself alive, so I think we all know where this is going. Strange, though, that the one he injects himself with doesn't turn him into a zombie, but then it does for everyone. Whatever. Anyway, then we'll get a long and unnecessary backstory. I mean, it's obvious. The Nazis wanted to win the war, they made some zombies and flying sharks. We don't need this incessantly long flashback sequence where I'm reading subtitles that aren't left on the screen near long enough. And And like they put together a cartoon presentation. Like the Nazis made a cartoon about their flying sharks, and we're sitting there watching it, and I'm like, why would the Nazis make a cartoon? It's overlong. We get the point. When I see a Nazi riding a flying shark, I get the Nazis made flying sharks, and there's no big twist here or anything. The movie, like I said, I just want to focus on our main characters, but we jump around to a bunch of like random news footage, or we get to know characters that are just about to die in a second, so what's the point? And we get like fake commercials for the company, one of which is a commercial for something that gets brought up later in the movie, and people are like, that's real? I thought it was just a legend. They made a commercial for it. Whatever. There's moments to talk about the story and how it doesn't work. They ground all the planes, and people are like, why are they grounding all the planes? Well, I thought sky sharks were on the news a second ago. I think we know why they're grounding all the planes. But anyway, there's a decision where they say, let's let one plane go as bait for the sky sharks, you know, and it's just civilians. They don't load up a plane with military personnel or anything like that. Just send out unsuspecting civilians who just want to get out of Europe, and they'll take the plane no matter how suspicious this is. But how do you emotionally weigh that scene? The emotion should be behind the people making this decision and going, how can we possibly sacrifice people? It's for the greater good. One plane dies, but the planet gets to live. No, we don't get any of that emotion or drama. Instead, we get lots of scenes of just randos hanging out in the lobby wanting to know when their plane will go. And that's weird that we would pitch the movie like that. You know, you don't get any of, you know, they sacrificed a plane full of people, and we don't get any of that remorse or dread, you know? So yeah, just the narrative through line just really doesn't work in this movie. But overall, there is big extreme stuff. They constantly come up with more concepts. There's a good enough finale, you know, and there's crazy cheesy moments and a ton of breast, like, in this movie. If someone opens a computer screen, that's probably what will be on it. And, you know, it does the good job at being big and cheesy and over the top, but it really just feels like the movie is a string that's holding together a bunch of random ideas, and they don't have any sense of cohesion, and they never slow down to let you savor or ponder any of them. It's just bright, intense, flashing at the screen. So, overall, this is one of the better shark movies I looked at. I know I just tore into it a lot. It's not a factory film. It's not something just made for money. There's a good bit of passion here, wanting to do something like, you know, Kung Fury or something. It's just, it doesn't work for as long a format as it is. If it was a series of weird little shorts or music videos, I mean, that would have been fun, but sitting through over an hour and a half of this without having firmly established main characters, it's just, I wish they got someone to take their ideas and aggregate them into a plot better. It was just frustrating because I did want this to be better than it was, and it really wasn't. But as it stands, I guess it's okay, but I just wish it was better, but at least it was someone who tried, right? Anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom. This should be my Sharks playlist, where you can see me talk about a bunch of other shark movies, including the Sharknado franchise. Those are pretty fun. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Sharks playlist on the bottom. Have a good day now.